On the other hand, as His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj mentioned, that the preaching will actually expand even more after the temple's built. Sometimes, when I go out on book distribution, there are devotees with tables, and they're distributing books on the table. And generally people don't stop just to see some books on a table, but we used to put on the Changing Bodies exhibit. That used to attract some people. People would walk by and you ask them, which body are you? And generally people always point to the young body and the changing body. And what's your future? You show them the last body. That's your last body, the one with the skeleton. That gets a few smiles, maybe a few donations also. But the best one was the man with the face of a cow, and the cow with the face of the man, and the cow with the face of the man with the face of the cow was about to kill the cow. He has an axe in his hand. He's about to kill the cow with the face of the man. People would stop and ask, "What is that?" "That's you." So that would attract a lot of people. People would see all these Hare Krishnas, they have books, but look at that. They have a little diorama, something you can put in a box and take home with you. What to speak of this diorama? Imagine how many books we could sell with such a diorama. People will walk in, they'll see all the planetary systems circulating around them. They'll be able to see reincarnation, and they'll be able to see transmigration. They'll be able to see Darwin's theories being defeated, maybe something about astrology and Ayurveda, and all kinds of different parts of our philosophy manifested before them. And not just in a little diorama, but obviously someone must have taken it seriously to give hundreds, well, maybe not hundreds of millions of dollars, but the planetarium will cost probably at least $100 million, which is a little bit more than pocket change for most of us. So people will have to appreciate at least that someone's taking this seriously, whatever is in there. Srila Prabhupada said, at first people will laugh at us, as I said the other day, and then they'll, after some time, when the Hare Krishna movement expands and people become a little bit more aware that Hare Krishna movement has some potency, then they'll persecute us. And then at last, they'll love us. Around the world, we're at different stages. I don't know where they're loving us so much. There may be some places where they're loving us more than others. But in general, the Hare Krishna movement, they don't even know we exist anymore. If you go out on the streets of New York with a devotee, people will stop you and say, "Are you a member of the Hare Krishna movement?" You go, "Yes." "Wow, I thought you guys disappeared 20 years ago. You guys are still around? That's great." Sometimes I find the devotees, it used to be, we go on the Hare Krishna, with devotees and Tilak and Sika, and we challenge the world. And nowadays, sometimes in some parts of the world, devotees are so shy about appearing as a devotee that even to buy bread at the store, they go out and put on normal clothes. They don't want to be seen. "Oh, you're a member of that cult." But that's been a long time ago. Because people have been forgotten that we existed, what to speak of the fact that they thought we were a cult. Who are you? Even 10 years ago, I used to go on book distribution in Dodi and Tilak, and people would go, "Are you a Buddhist?" "No, I'm a Hare Krishna." "A what?" "Hare Krishna." I thought so. You're a Buddhist, right? That was before they thought we were Moonies. And we used to say, I may be a loony, but I'm not a Moonie. And then I was a Buddhist. Now people don't even know what we are. Are you a carrot? Carrot.
I don't know that one much. Some kind of vegetable.
Vegetable, yeah.
No, we're orange, don't
So we have to, by showing the potency of the Hare Krishna movement, because Prabhupada said one day they'll be able to understand the potency of the Hare Krishna movement. Right now, we're a little dormant, and probably to a certain extent that may be good, because unless we're actually prepared to confront many people who are prepared to oppose us, then probably it's good not to be so much out front in some areas of the world. But from Sridhar Mayapur, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, because Prabhupada would travel, for instance, one time he came to Florida. People in Florida, they think they're the center of the world, especially Miami. Because people, at least, they used to come all over the world, Miami Beach. And Prabhupada came there one year, he was 75, and he said, thank you very much for having Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda here in this very remote area called Florida. So far away from Sridhar Mayapur. One time I was in Peru, I went to Cusco. I don't know if you know about Cusco, but in many parts of the world, Cusco is very high. People, they think it's a very important place. They have a place called Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu. So I went there, even to Machu Picchu, with just a bunch of bricks. Couldn't understand why anyone would take the trouble to go there. Calcutta, there are many bricks all over the place. There, maybe the bricks are a little older, but who knows. In any case, I met the mayor of Cusco. Not difficult to meet. And he said, next year we're having a Kumbh Mela in Cusco because we've determined that Cusco is the center of the world. And I was thinking, sure, right. I didn't want to spoil his vision. But this is actually the center of the universe. Sridhar Mayapur is really where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to actually change the universe, to actually make an effect on it. People in Miami generally don't make an effect on the world, what to speak of the universe. What to speak of Cusco. But this place is where the transcendental movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has originated and will expand not only this planet, but throughout the entire universe. This is the most important place in the universe, and certainly the most important place on this planet, and therefore when the Hare Krishna movement becomes visibly manifested, not only to the members of the Gaudiya Vaishnava community, but also to the entire Indian devotee, or all the Vaishnavas within India, will take note when this temple is completed, and even the people in India will take note. And when we speak of the entire world, they'll actually hear about Sridhar Mayapur and about this building here and what it's meant for to expand Krishna consciousness around the world. If you ask most people, when I first joined the Hare Krishna movement in 1968, if you were a vegetarian, I remember I became a vegetarian even before I joined the movement, and all my friends thought, oh yeah, you can be a vegetarian. They thought maybe 2 weeks, 2 months, and then that's it. They couldn't, because actually, if you were a vegetarian, there was practically nothing to eat. There was no vegetarian restaurants. There was, and where I became a devotee in Buffalo, New York, it was during the winter, it was like 30 below zero when it was at the height of the temperature. and there was no fruits and vegetables except bananas, and therefore to become a vegetarian was rather rare. But now to become a vegetarian is very common, at least in most parts of the world. Mainly because of Prabhupada's influence. If you go to a place like Australia, we have probably 50, 60, 70 restaurants, all around, as far as I know, all around Australia. And people love the Hare Krishna movements because they've entered, the Hare Krishna movement has entered there through their stomach. As it says in Spanish, Briga llena corazón contento. When your stomach's full, your heart is satisfied. So this Hare Krishna movement has expanded, has spread vegetarianism. Now people, at least in the Western world, they know about concepts like karma, reincarnation, guru. These are just common words. Even the Hare Krishna movement is in the dictionary. Hare Krishna is in the dictionary. This Hare Krishna movement will expand, especially when people realize that the Hare Krishna movement is based upon firm philosophy and practical demonstration of that philosophy, which will be exhibited in this temple and very shortly will come up. And then people will ask about, well, I heard you have this temple in Mayapur. People will actually find out about Mayapur. They'll even find out about Bengal. And some people may not even know where India is. They asked one Miss America, a contestant for Miss America, about some place, I think it was Pakistan. Americans are famous because sometimes they don't know very much about the world. So they asked, what about Pakistan? He said, well, is that south of Mexico? Some people, sometimes they may not even know about India. India, is that south of Pakistan or which is south of Mexico? So now people will find out about India, they'll find out about Bengal, they'll find about Sridhar Mayapur, all because they've heard about this amazing place, this amazing temple that's come up, which is one of the tallest religious structures in the world. And inside there is these amazing model of the universe with all these unusual people and all these unusual things going on there, and reincarnation, karma, and transmigration of the self, anashram dharma. It'll actually become a very interesting place, probably for many people around the world to come and visit. It'll become the Disney world of the spiritual world. Sridhar Mayapur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Temple Vedic Planetarium ki jai.
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyatyadeshatare. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Just the other day, my god brother Pritu Prabhu, we are both from Germany, told me that he noticed one German tourist. He was not a devotee, just happened so to be in Calcutta, and he heard about this festival and came here to visit. And he asked Pritu Prabhu, why do you need such a big temple? Why are you building such a huge temple? And Pritu replied, because more than 1 million people come to this festival and we cannot accommodate them in a small hut over there. And the tourist, German tourist, he was, what? More than 1 million people? He said, yeah, there might be more in the future, maybe 2 million very soon. And, so he couldn't believe it. that so many visitors are coming to a Hare Krishna festival, more than millions of people. So Srila Prabhupada had this vision when he wrote in 1976 a letter to Srila Swarup Damodar Maharaj that when we will be able to explain scientifically the changes of the seasons, eclipses, how exactly the changes of the day, night, etc. takes place in a scientific way, then this will attract people from all over the world. Srila Prabhupada mentioned in this letter, they will come here from all over the world. And he further wrote, it will be a glorious exhibition of the Indian Vedic culture, and it will attract many, many people. He even predicted there will be more than 50,000 people living here, and we will have our own airport. Also, they will come flying from all over the world to see. Vimanas, Maharaj mentioned Vimanas might also come from the heavenly planets. Who knows? We are ready for anything. We have to be flexible, you know? Anything might happen. So anyway, Srila Prabhupada had this vision, and if we study Srila Prabhupada's activities throughout his life, he was so dedicated, he directly served the desires of his Guru Maharaj beyond anyone's expectations. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur established many projects, and Srila Prabhupada simply revived them. He revived all these projects, all the desires his Guru Maharaj had. He was so dedicated. For instance, just some days before Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur departed from this world, he wanted that his disciples form a governing body of 10 to 12 people. And Srila Prabhupada already as early as 1917 established, he formed the GBC body, governing body commission of 12 people. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur factually prepared himself to go to the West. Many might not know this. He himself wanted to go. He was preparing himself to go to the West, to preach Krishna consciousness all over the world. And Srila Prabhupada, again, single-handedly went, one person went to the West and spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. Srila Prabhupada also continued the Harmonist, the publication in English language, by publishing his Back to Godhead magazine in English language. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also wanted 3 volumes of the publication Sri Krishna Chaitanya. And he wanted that these 3 devotees, disciples of his, who went to London to take these 3 volumes with them, Bon Maharaj and Theodore Maharaj and one more devotee, they went. But at that time, they could only publish 1 volume, not 3. So they took this 1 volume with them to London. Now when Srila Prabhupada left for the West, he took 3 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam with him. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also established here in Sri Mayapur the Chaitanya, Sri Chaitanya Math. as the center or parent temple of all the extensions which he called Gaudiya Math in Calcutta and many other places. And they were supposedly spread all over the world. And again, Srila Prabhupada fulfilled, revived that desire of his Guru Maharaj by acquiring as early as possible the land here in Srila Mayapur. Those who were here at the time, they know how difficult it was. There were so many obstacles. It was not easy to acquire that piece of land here in Mayapur. So Srila Prabhupada did it, and he gave detailed instructions for building the temple of the Vedic Planetarium. And I really liked the other day, Shiva Maharaj gave the example of the temple of Vedic Planetarium, which we are seeing now, building up. It is like Srila Prabhupada's boot in the face of the scientists. It's a quite big boot. Srila Prabhupada mentioned it, and it's right there. It's like a warning sign, like a huge display. Stop speculating. Why they continue to speculate about the structure of this universe, the planetary systems, in this material world and above this material world, the spiritual sky. They cannot even speculate that far, only related to within this material world existence. So much speculation. Just the other day, just for curiosity, I checked a little bit on the website, some scientific website, NASA website also, what is happening, what goes on. I could not read more than one paragraph. It's painful. It's really painful. I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful to modern atheistic science, but it's painful to read. Really. So much speculation. And I think it's about time to stop this. And this is what Srila Prabhupada envisioned, that to demonstrate to the entire world, there's no need to speculate about the structure of this universe, about the kingdom of God, Vaikuntha, spiritual world. Everything is being described precisely and scientifically. This is what Srila Prabhupada wanted to demonstrate by constructing, building this temple of Vedic Planetarium, to demonstrate it is not just a religious belief. It can be scientifically proven. That's the whole attempt. And we take the blade of grass between our teeth, and we appeal to all those who have the necessary resources to step forward and become recognized, help and assist, and become recognized by Srila Prabhupada, by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and finally by Shri Shri Gaunitai and Shri Shri Radha Madhava. Hare Krishna.
And he takes it, Ambarish Prabhu takes his Prabhupada's order. Prabhupada ordered him. And same time Prabhupada also ordered that the whole world should come together to collect for this temple. So Ambarish Prabhu, we should learn from his idealism, that how seriously Ambarish Prabhu has taken his Prabhupada's instruction to his heart. Same time, all devotees of whole world should take Prabhupada's instruction to their heart, that Prabhupada has said that whole world devotees should come together and help to build this temple. And many temples, they think, oh, donation going to Mayapur, so we'll have less donation here. But actually, I have seen any temple, any devotee gives donation to Mayapur, that temple flourishes like anything. So you want to make a temple flourish, you donate to Mayapur. Yes. Usually I don't tell, I'll tell you one thing today. Madhu Pandit Prabhu, our Bangalore temple president, when he started, I told him this thing. Believing on this, he started donating every year 1 lakh rupees to Mayapur. So I told him, see, they're doing so good. Then afterwards, he separated from us. 1 or 2 months before, I was in Bangalore. I went to see his second temple. His vice president told me, Maharaj, that donation we are giving to you, still you are giving today also the donation to Pankaj Prabhu. And still they are giving that. They have said, we give to Mayapur, we will flourish. So the point is, you give for Mayapur, your temple will not lack anything. It will all flourish like anything. So much so, what to speak of the government, everybody coming forward. Everybody expecting Mayapur will be very big. Now Maharaj is telling German tourists, I saw one day 50 London British people coming in. So where they are coming from? The government bringing them by boat. German people coming by, already they have started. And just imagine when this temple will be ready, what will be the situation of this place? Of course, we'll bring people from thousands will come from all over the world. So that's why we have to all come together now to finish this temple as soon as possible, so that we'll reduce this hassle, festival time, so crowd, so it will be reduced. So I don't want to torture you more, so I end here. Thank you so much. Hari Bol.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I can feel the heat on my back and I don't want to sit here for very long, so I won't be long. I would just say though that I thought I heard Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj utter the words, even if Ambarish Prabhu is a billionaire. I just want to reassure you that he is not a billionaire. Okay. This of course is the anniversary of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur's disappearance, and in that sense a very significant date. We often hear the phrase, impossible is not a word in the Vaishnava's dictionary, and Bhakti Vinod Thakur made many predictions, but 3 famous predictions. One was that a Senapati Bhakta would soon manifest, and of course that happened in the form of both Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj but also our Srila Prabhupada, that the holy name would be spread throughout the whole world, and that fair-skinned human beings would come to Sridham Mayapur and chant Jai Sachinandan, Jai Sachinandan. As you can see, 2 of the speakers today have their floppy hats on. Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj, and I'm following in his lotus footsteps, or his lotus head steps. And the reason we're doing that is because we have very fair skin. And I remember the first time as a young person coming to Mayapur, the very first time I came, I went out on Pradikram, and it was during the morning time. I think we left just after breakfast and we're out till lunchtime. So the bright sunshine, and I wore no hat. I had a fresh shaved head and I wore no hat. The next day I had blisters all over my head. So definitely fair-skinned people are now coming back. Thakur's predictions have come true. When he made those predictions, there was actually a lot of criticism, cynicism about them from many quarters because it seemed an impossible thing. But as I said, impossible is not a word in the Vaishnava's dictionary. So I just wanted to leave us with that thought that nothing is impossible, and obviously nothing is impossible with the mercy of the previous acharyas supporting the service that we're trying to do. Etam vibhutam yogam cha, Krishna tells us in the Bhagavad Gita that it's only through lack of faith in Krishna and who he actually is that something becomes impossible. But as long as we have that faith in Krishna and who he is, then nothing is actually impossible. So I'll finish with a very quick little story, spinning back to the start, if you like, of Gaudiya Vaishnavism being revived on the planet, and particularly here in West Bengal, which, as I understand it, Jagannath Das Babaji, the spiritual master of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, was really the pioneer of that, of the resurrection of Gaudiya Vaishnavism after it had kind of run into trouble since Lord Chaitanya's disappearance. Around that same time, and this again is focusing on the point that nothing is impossible, around that same time there was a gentleman who was born in England, in a place called Salford, which is in Greater Manchester. I see one UK devotee there just in front of me who will know Salford, Manchester well. Salford, Manchester, even today, is a very dreary place, and you would never give a class outside in Salford, Manchester. You would never do that. So, the person who took birth there was a person called William Cowherd. What a wonderful name, Cowherd. That was his name, William Cowherd. Now, William Cowherd started a chapel, a Christian chapel. Unfortunately, the chapel was called Beefsteak Chapel. That was the name of his chapel, Beefsteak Chapel. But he started this chapel in Salford, Manchester. However, he had one fundamental condition if you wanted to be a member of his church or if you wanted to be a member of his congregation. Absolutely fundamental condition that you had to sign if you wanted to be part of his church, part of his congregation. And that condition was that you had to be a vegetarian. This was in the the crossing over period of the 1700s into the 1800s. We're talking 250 years ago. This is pre-Victorian Britain, where people were so much more degraded than they are today. Yet this gentleman, and he had a connection, this is the amazing thing, through a Swedish religious person, he had a connection with the East India Company that was traveling to India at that time and also to Bengal, that some friend who traveled on some of those expeditions or those business arrangements had met some people in West Bengal who had convinced him to be a vegetarian for all of the reasons that we are vegetarian. All the reasons of compassion, etc., and to develop our spiritual life. So he came back with that message. William Cowherd in the Beefsteak Chapel took that message and he said, right, I'm going to make it a condition of you being a member of my congregation. It was so unpopular that whenever a person in his congregation died, even if they were 100 years old, the local newspapers would print front page articles saying, just see, this rascal William Cowherd, his congregation are dying because he's making them be vegetarian. He had an incredible opposition against him. 250 years ago in Britain, can you imagine? Marge was saying that if you go on the streets of New York, they'll say, who are you, what are you? That's 2014, 2013. This is 250 years ago. And all of the establishment was against William Cowherd. But he stuck to his principles and he established the Vegetarian Society in Britain. And the statistics show that by the time he left his body, there were more vegetarian establishments in the UK than actually there are today. So this was a man completely on his own, with no support, no association, establishing that principle that of course is a very basic principle of Gaudiya Vaishnava life and culture, we understand that. But in the circumstances and in the context, it was an incredible achievement. But that does have a connection back to the revival of Gaudiya Vaishnavism in Bengal during Jagannath Das Babaji's time. So, in terms of nothing is impossible, and you see this temple behind us, in many respects, of course, it was predicted by Lord Nityananda, further endorsed by the previous acharyas. But as Marsh said, so far, in terms of actually putting the bricks together and the foundation in and seeing what you see, has essentially been the effort of practically one person, and that is Ambarish Prabhu. So all glories to Ambarish Prabhu in his service to Prabhupada, because he said to Prabhupada asked him and he said he would do his very, very best to fulfill Prabhupada's wish that this temple be manifest during Ambarish's lifetime. Ambarish also is no spring chicken. He now is also in his 60s, so we don't know how long more he has left. So I just would urge you all, not as Marsh said, that we're going to go around with our floppy hats now after the talk and see what you can put in them. No, not like that at all. But that you join and be part of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Lord Nityananda's team, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's team, and Srila Prabhupada's team. Whether it be that you make a contribution, whether it be that you encourage other people, whether it be that you come up with ideas as how to do it, or whether it simply be that you pray that this temple manifests as soon as possible within Ambarish Prabhu's lifetime, within all of our lifetime. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, yay! I should just mention that as part of this festival, those devotees who are specifically assigned with the service of trying to raise Lakshmi, those devotees had a golden brick campaign, just to let you know. They have sold